I also have Brad shit too. I just gotta get that. I don't know if I said that.
Oh, Brad got one too?
Yeah. He got a t-shirt. I forgot about Riggs and I realized he was the same size as Brad, so I just gave Riggs his.
Mess in it.
And Bobby's. Well, it's not live, so that's good.
Hey, just live now because I just got a beat.
Alright, so we're sharing it?
Hold on. Oh, shit. Hold on. Let's change the title.
We'll share it first, and then we can...
It's still on the title.
Right. Oh, hey, how's it going?
Hot mic.
Hold on.
Wait, what are you shifting for? Come on. This is some behind-the-scenes bullcrap, isn't it?
Fixing the title.
What is this? Riggs, does this belong on here?
No, I'm not used to this hot mic, though.
Dude, the Browns suck.
Yeah,
We'll talk.
Damn it. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, that's the old one.
Yeah. Come on.
Refresh the page.
What the hell? Which one's... Is it up?
I'm checking right now. Start streaming now.
Is it live? Get there. Alright, it's live here. It's live everywhere.
What's the title?
We Like Sportz Podcast, but I added more to it because I hit update. Alright.
Alright, we're ready?
Oh my goodness.
Hold on. Hold on.
Is it live? Is that going to be the thing? Yes. I hate you.
Yeah, share so I can share it.
Alright,
Oh, that's
you ready?
great.
We're going to go live. Here we go.
I gotta share it.
Well, my volume's been on.
It's goofy because I muted the mic. I muted the mic.
Alright, here we go.
Ready?
Did you share it?
And welcome to the We Like Sportz Podcast. Yes, Parker Pierce, I did.
All right, good.
That's Parker Pierce talking alongside with Riggs, Payton, Brian Fluke, the producer. We are live from the studios of Street and Street. We're at Riggs' house.
Yes, we wanted to give a little bit of a change of scenery for everybody here on the We Like Sportz Podcast.
Everybody knows Keith's a big shot, and that's why we didn't go.
Yes. Big shout out to Keith and the KM Voice family.
Big shout out.
Shout out, yeah. Big shout out, yeah. Shout out because they're hunting, they're shooting guns, and they're killing things in a positive way. And we just want to
Hey, all I know right now is I just got my brand new, very amazing bro tank from the We Like Sportz Podcast.
That
And
bitch is
speaking
nice.
of guns, I know they got all their guns that they're shooting on film and stuff, and they're gonna be doing like such cinematic stuff. All I know is the only guns that really matter are the ones right here in Cleveland, Ohio, baby.
nice.
Right here
Hell
on Parker
yeah.
Pierce. See these guns? They pop. Get yourself a bro tank from the We Like Sportz Podcast.
Very new shirts, everybody. I like these a lot better than the original shirts. I mean, I do like the original shirts. But
The original shirts kind of suck.
they kind of suck, but on a humble and great aspect of it, I was happy to be a part of it with, you and the other guy, so let's move forward, everybody.
Well,
Absolutely.
we are moving forward. And speaking of going forward,
Peyton Hillis
What?
loved my mustache. Fun fact.
Did he?
Did you hear this part?
oh my goodness.
Before we get into sports, so in the backfield Thursday, you guys were busy. I'm bringing this up again. So you guys were busy. I ended up going, and so I asked Peyton Hillis when I had the Fu Manchu still, cleanly shaven by the way now, but cleanly shaven. I know for all you guys that are specific.
Do you get like 5 o'clock shadow that lasts for like 3 weeks?
No,
is
this
that
is
what happens?
a problem.
I mean, I swear to God, 3 weeks from now, your face is gonna still look the same. You just can't find a razor that cleans as tightly and closely back.
We're asked to keep something
Jesus
silent, but we
Christ!
just told the whole entire world.
Yeah, because it's gone now.
What? Jesus.
Understood.
All right. So what has every other person or every other guest that we have ever had on the We Like Sportz Podcast, what have they said about your particular facial hair? I'm pretty sure one person from the radio station you're working on Friday nights, I'm pretty sure he had something to say about it, didn't he?
Our buddy Troy Bumgarner.
Yeah, Troy probably did.
Shout out, Troy.
I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of crap, a lot of flack, but I also got compliments. I mean, it's a fresh start. It's 2020, almost the end of it. We're almost in 2021. I'm just waiting to actually see how this comes in.
Where are you going with this? We were just making fun of the way your face looked with that.
I'm talking about fresh starts. I'm single.
You're saying that one person's opinion matters more than the other 80 opinions about your facial hair?
Brand's crawling with .com.
Our
Either
producer's
way,
crawling with
thank
the cat,
God.
so we're done.
At least he's back to normal. So now that we're on an even plane here, and your face is completely even, at least it's not escaped. What's our first topic of the day?
The first topic is the tip-off. Also, Parker, you're not competing to get in the ring. To go ahead, you're going to be the one that comes up with the topic.
Actually, because I really kind of have a topic.
So it's going to be
Parker? I have many
Save
topics.
it for next week. Write it down.
I'm just using the left side of my brain right now.
Nice.
Once I get the right side going, I'll pick the topic.
But the tip-off is the Buccaneers versus Giants game, Monday Night Football. We went into that game thinking it's going to be a blowout. Why is it on Monday Night Football? The Giants should have won that game. Tom Brady, he looked bad. Both teams looked bad, but the Giants looked good against a good team because they're bad.
I was shocked actually seeing that game, honestly, because I thought it was honestly going to be a blowout. In a way, it was a chess game to me watching that. You know, like, of course, you know, you're not going to go out there and you're not going to lose your best player on the field or your rook or your bishop. You're going to take your time. You're going to strategize it. The game came down to the wire. Once again, I see Brady is frustrated. I'm not saying he's frustrated playing for Tampa Bay. He's frustrated in a new offense because it's how many weeks now? He's smashed his helmet down. He's screaming. He's yelling. He's cussing. Of course, Gronk is his target. That's his boy. You know, that's his right-hand man. They just passed Jerry Rice and Joe Montana for receiving yards and stuff, correct?
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. So what I get out that situation is Tom Brady just needs to calm down. He needs to mellow out. You're not in the AFC anymore, homeboy. You're in a new era. You're in a new whole division, and people are gunning for you, dude. They really, because, okay, look at it like this. You're not going to come to this side of the neighborhood and think you're going to get that stuff off you did over there. No, dude. Whole nother game, whole nother ballpark. It's going to be a rough rest of the season, I feel like, for Tampa Bay.
It's okay. No, I don't see it as being rough.
I say rough.
It's not going to be. No, here's why it's not going to be rough. You see Tom Brady get mad. Yeah, when do you see him get mad? Only in the playoffs. Only when he's hungry for something. You never saw it during the regular season.
He's doing it in the regular season now.
No, but during the regular season, in his entire time in New England, he was in the weakest division in football.
Facts.
He was in the weakest division, which means he never had to bring that fire into the playoffs. But what happened in the playoffs? Even when he faced subpar offense, subpar defenses in his own division, kind of like the Cleveland Indians over the past 10 years, instead of stumbling and bumbling and crumbling in the playoffs,
That's a crisp
Tom Brady went from being in the weakest division and dominating it for year after year after year to turning it into championships.
And I think that's the thing, too.
Tom Brady brings the fire when he wants to win. Mm-hmm. Right now, Tampa Bay has been a great offense team. They've been so great with their skill positions. They've had Mike Evans. I'd even go back to when Cadillac Jones was in the league.
Vincent Jackson, too, the wide receiver.
Vincent Jackson was even there. I mean, they've been talented ever since 2002 in the skill position. They just have never been able to find their quarterback.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been in the
Chris
Browns.
Sims,
Ever since Johnson, when they won the Super Bowl in 2002, they have not been able to find their quarterback. They've had the skill, they've had the talent, they can't find their leader. Tom Brady is the person who's finally bringing Tampa Bay, and he's bringing that fire early, and he's shown them. And I'm not gonna lie, watching how Tom Brady's performing right now, I could see him playing for another 2 years.
No, but don't you think, though, like, okay, if you're a Carolina Panthers or if you're the Saints or any other team in the NFC, Tom Brady from the AFC, like you said, came from a weak-ass division. You think you're going to bring that down here, homeboy? Even if they do beat their ass, I'm going to play you really hard, regardless. That's what I mean by what I'm saying. It could be a possible harder task for Tom Brady. He's not going to have that Bills, Buffalo, and Miami easy-ass schedule. He's going to be seeing a little bit more competition down there. He might beat some of their asses, but they will know, like, hey, your defensive tackle hit me. I know who the hell he is. You
know what's kind of funny to me is that Tom Brady decides to leave just as the Buffalo Bills get
good.
What does that tell you? Yeah.
As soon as
when
the
going
Buffalo
get
Bills
tough,
get
the tough get going.
Tom Brady, I mean, I ain't gonna lie, he's facing a very aging Drew Brees, who seems to be struggling. I mean, they're above 500, but they don't seem like that actual New Orleans offense. Drew Brees without Michael Thomas
has been missing.
Without Michael Thomas, Drew Brees can't get into a rhythm. It seems like he's struggling and he's using his veteran presence to win games, but he's not doing it by much.
And like the thing is too is with like the Buccaneers, I feel like everybody in like the Tampa, Florida area, they were expecting Tom Brady to come in and just kick ass. Like that was it. They were expecting him to dominate. But it's kind of similar to like how when the Cavs in 2014 had all these stars, you had Kyrie, you had LeBron, they never played with each other ever. You had Kevin Love that involved. You didn't have team chemistry, and you didn't see them succeed until halfway through the season.
When trades were made.
And if this is the season now, I think 6-2 for the Buccaneers, if that's what they have right now, and they haven't had the chemistry yet, and you're adding Antonio Brown, which we were talking about this on Friday at the radio station. We were saying, I'm like, Antonio Brown, like, I'm not happy he signed with the Buccaneers, but that's probably because I'm bitter. I don't think he has it because I'm bitter. I don't like the fact that he's going somewhere when, if he didn't make mistakes, that could be a team with Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Oh, you're being biased right now. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So pretty much what he's complaining about, since I mean they've had so much more success than us, is pretty much like us complaining about like Josh Gordon going to somewhere else, or like a Terrell Pryor. Like, oh man, well, why do you have to do that to us? No, Antonio Brown to the Steelers means as much as a Terrell Pryor or a Josh Gordon does to the Cleveland Browns. Get over it. You guys have been winning. You guys are successful. You guys are, 7-0 now?
Yes, we are.
Yeah, frig off. We're not happy about it. Look.
Could you repeat that?
Stop.
What'd you say?
We're not happy about it.
We're not happy about it.
The Steelers are 7-0.
This is the shout out to anybody who likes any other team that plays the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope to God that your team beats the Pittsburgh Steelers. Just one time. Or unless Pittsburgh, they make the playoffs and they take a loss when it really counts. The loss where you have to pack your shit and go home. And I apologize for that.
So Riggs ended
usually in January, right?
Mm-hmm. So Riggs texted me on Sunday. And he texted me and I asked him if he was home from work. Didn't text me back because he was pissed the Steelers won. And he went, I would have did something if it was like a 911, but it wasn't an emergency, so I didn't care. And then Monday he texts me, and he goes, I'm not mad at you, but I'm mad at you. And then he goes, somebody better beat your effing football team ASAP. And I went, LMAO, 7-0.
All right, so we're still on the tip-off, which started with the Bucks versus the Giants, and it was a terrible Monday Night Football. That's what we started with, right?
We could go back to that.
All right, that was the tip-off, everybody.
Now let's get in the ring.
We're going to get in the ring?
Yeah, besides the brain you're using.
Yeah, it's going to be... You got to time that, so get your phone ready.
Yeah. Give me your phone.
What's the topic?
You know what? I could go on what better water you like, either the purified or the extra purified. But we're going to go with sports topics. So, fellas, I know one of you are not a Browns fan.
Wonder who.
Are you worried? Or are you extremely worried after Baker Mayfield's performance this past week against the Raiders?
Ooh.
In a very, very difficult game with weather conditions, that was a must-win game and kind of a, decipher to see where these two teams are at compared to the rest of the NFL.
I go first.
Okay.
All right, let me know when
So
you're
are you
ready.
going to be very worried or worried?
I'm going to be very worried.
I'm a little bit worried.
I'm going to be very worried, so give me a ding-ding.
Okay. Ding-ding.
All right, I'd be very worried if I was a Browns fan just because Baker Mayfield, it was a snowy game, it was windy, it was Cleveland-like conditions that you have to get used to. Hugh Jackson was freezing his ass off when he jumped in the lake, but that's something you get used to when you're in Cleveland.
He skipped in.
Anyways, when you end up having that kind of weather throughout December and January, you're going to end up facing 5 games of just trouble when you should be successful.
You have 5 seconds. Why are you not using
He's an Oklahoma kid, but instead in Cleveland, he's not used to the weather. He needs to adjust.
You had 5 seconds.
And I still had 1 second over. I thought I had
You had 5 seconds, and you just went blank there. You made 2 very, very, very good points, and they both had to deal with the weather. But you're right. They're going to have 5+ weeks where they're going to be in non-good conditions because they're either going to be playing in Cleveland or in the AFC North.
Baltimore.
You got Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
Yep.
They're not fun. Cincinnati's even not fun to play with sometimes in December. So Baker has to get used to these weather conditions. That is a big thing. I think that in his first year, in his rookie year, there were a lot of games where they were cold, but you didn't have the conditions. It wasn't windy. It was just cold.
I mean, it hasn't.
So we haven't seen Baker throw through the wind a whole lot yet. But I gave you 2. You did all right. I did not like you comparing or even saying the name Hugh Jackson. I'm sorry, but Dad. It was okay. If you didn't use Hugh Jackson jumping in the lake, you would have had 3.
He skipped in.
Yeah, he skipped in, pretty much.
He did not jump, and I expected him to jump off from the pier from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
But he just ran. He ran it from like Edgewater.
Or at least off a little shrimp boat or something.
Exactly.
Little whatever. All right.
So I am worried about what again?
You're worried, but you're like not that worried about Baker Mayfield's performance.
Okay.
Last week and how the rest of the season will go for him.
Ready? Ding ding.
3, 2, 1. Ding ding.
I'm really not that concerned about Baker Mayfield's performance because, one, there's no excuse about the weather conditions. He will get used to it. I am concerned and worried that he is not 100% healed just yet and that he is trying too hard and too fast. I'm also worried and concerned that him and Hollywood Higgins are not going to connect and click that well on offense. I'm also worried and concerned that Nick Chubb is going to try too hard, too fast, but he's going to do well, and I just need him to fit in.
Yeah, you got 3.
So let's actually break it down. To be
honest with you, you brought up the fact that Nick Chubb, you think he might push back too hard, which is going to affect the rest of the season, which is going to affect Baker later in the rest of the season if he gets through these next couple games. You also brought up his connection with Hollywood Higgins. And with Hollywood Higgins, I think he needs to be more, he needs to be his guy. Like, Hollywood Higgins needs to be his number 2 behind Jarvis Landry at all times. I mean, that's your Reggie Wayne almost if you're Baker Mayfield, You need that guy. I feel like he could be like a Jarvis Landry and be that type of guy eventually.
Correct.
But it has to be with Baker Mayfield. It can't be with anybody else.
Mm-hmm. And
they just have that connection.
It goes to show you that Odell Beckham Jr. didn't have an impact because people were thinking that it was going to be a cakewalk if you're a Browns fan. That Odell's out. It's all right. We have Rashard Higgins. It's all right. We have Donovan Peoples-Jones that played in one game and got a touchdown.
But also, I mean, Riggs, you did say that was his first game playing in the weather conditions. He's going to get used to it. I hope that he does get used to it, and he needs to get used to it. And that's why I'm giving you the extra half point. So you win by a half point.
Thank you.
That counts for betting, so I guess I'll take that if it's 2.5 points.
Yep.
But anyways, though, with the fact of just get in the ring and the Browns having... That was something that a team in Los Angeles that's warm weather was able to outplay the Browns and the Browns' conditions. We'll obviously get into that a little bit more, but do you guys want to get into baseball really quick, and then we could end up taking a break at 8 o'clock? We still got 9 minutes left, so we'll end up going general baseball, and then from there probably the Indians briefly. But Rob Manfred ends up opening stating that he's open to neutral site World Series games, which I even mentioned back when that happened. I said it could be a possibility that Rob Manfred or the MLB likes this because you're not going to be cheating because none of your staff will be there. You're going to have eyeballs everywhere. It's just the home teams are going to be losing out on revenue. So the fact that I even called it is enough of a statement that I would imagine that Rob Manfred would do this. But what are your guys' thoughts on if this does happen?
You know what's ridiculous? You know what is absolutely ridiculous is the fact that 7 possible games in a World Series that could take up 7 different days in a 50,000-person stadium is not considered to be as valuable as the Super Bowl. Would you not want that to be in your home? Oh, we got the World Series. Oh my God, we have this for an entire week and a half. You know, this is gonna get insane for a week and a half. Instead of the Super Bowl, it's like, we have press day. Oh, there's fan fun day here. This is cool. You know, no. A week and a half of baseball. Could you imagine that? I would take that in my home city way over a Super Bowl. And that's a great idea to make the World Series a neutral site.
I'm mad because I didn't think of that.
Now, what I would do to make the World Series a neutral site, now hear me out. I'm not going to... this is going to look like I'm not showing love to the West Coast, and I apologize. But the World Series is what? It's the Fall Classic. What? So I'm giving it... so I'm giving it to every single Midwestern, the tri-state area, everybody that if you get snow, sleet, or rain, or different colored leaves falling in your front yard, you're going to get the Fall Classic for that 7 days in your hometown or your city. You know,
so you're basing the Fall Classic off of leaves.
Yeah, why not? It's the Fall Classic. Why would you take the Fall Classic to California? Yes, it's been played there before because
it's nice out there.
It should be the exact opposite of what the fucking... of what the stupid Super Bowl does. So anyway,
that was great.
So it should be the complete opposite. Like the Super Bowl plays in very, very beautiful areas or in a dome
or New York
or New York. Like it should be the Fall Classic should be in the worst stadiums possible.
Tampa Bay.
I mean, you got to play in Seattle with the roof open. You know, stuff like that. Like it's not going to be fun. You know.
Chills.
That it was just the complete opposite of what the Super Bowl does. That'd be neat for baseball.
Exactly.
And you get it for a whole week and a half.
I think the NFL should do that for football because football is a rain, sleet, or snow type of weather. But that's, big bucks talks when it comes to that.
There's already going on right now too. If you were to have World Series in other areas, you're not making nothing of the stadiums, but the bars and the local businesses would be highly impacted by because different teams coming to the town.
Because you got to figure the Super Bowl. Everybody has a Super Bowl party. Yeah. Everybody has a Super Bowl party at local bars. Yeah. Everybody has a big event for the Super Bowl.
Everybody gets it on squares and prop bets, and a lot of money's made. If you made
the World Series feel as big as the Super Bowl, there would be so much profit in that for everywhere.
I mean, the thing is the best comparison, look back at 2016. If you were downtown at all, or even 2016, I didn't even mention much topic, with the Indians specifically, with that. We could also even compare the Cavs. If you look at that energy when you have not only your own team, but a team that's playing at your stadium, you're going to get random cross-traffic to guys that are going to be actually there in their cities, so like a Chicago or New York, possibly for like MLB. But you have that, and that would be comparison to that energy. You're also just going to have guys that like baseball in your city. Imagine just even more if the world's normal. If you went to the bar scene and you're just shooting the crap with some dude you don't even know that's from Arkansas, and you're just talking baseball because the Braves are in it, and you're just hanging out. That's just like what human interaction should be.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, you hit it right on the nail right
give
there.
Give a round of applause for that one, people.
Damn. Did you guys want to hit anything else?
No, I don't. I have nothing else to hit on, honestly.
You got a manscape?
I got a lot more to hit on, but not in this topic. Yeah, so we can move on to the next one, but we're going to take a break real quick.
You got a
manscape? Because we got to get him back on track. Ain't that right?
Yep, and seriously, everybody out there, Manscaped, use the promo code SPORTS with a Z, SPORTZ. Ball toner, ball shaver, ball deodorant. How many times must I come on this podcast and talk about my balls or shaving your balls?
And you know what the best part is? Your balls will look better than Peyton's chin.
Yeah, or my face 2 weeks ago.
Manscaped, promo code SPORTS with a Z. We'll be right back on the We Like Sportz Podcast.
You made me laugh. I'm not going to say anything, though, until this mic is off. Let me double check. I don't trust this. Did I share this? Yeah, it's still...
And welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast, live from me and my roommate's dining room with professional Parker Pierce, Payton Vince, best friend, producer, Brian on the ones and twos back there. Big shout out to Cam Voice, Keith Meiger. Where you at, buddy? But also big shout out to our boys at CBD Delight. Keeps you calm, it keeps you balanced. 15 milligrams of CBD. It's odorless, colorless, tasteless. If you're having a bad day, I don't give a hell what it is. Put this in your drink, put this in some food, ketchup, whatever you guys like to put it in.
You can throw in your water. You know, you can give a double dose to Peyton so he calms down with his random gobblings. So I'm just going to give you my share because you need to be more balanced, bud.
It can even mellow out a Pittsburgh fan in Ohio to humble them.
It's hard to, but CBD Delight, it can accomplish that. That's for sure.
Hell yeah, CBD, calm, balanced,
more, bud.
And delighted.
There you go.
Man, I got on my phone. All right, so we came back. We were talking more about MLB. I forgot. Oh yeah, I had this to mention.
What are you talking about MLB? What?
I got cake for you guys.
Why? What
is that?
What in the MLB has to do with chocolate cake?
No, I got cake for you guys.
For the MLB?
No,
you
for the
NFL.
NFL.
Going to MLB.
Listen, shut up. Do you know what your schedule is? The rest of the season, it's a piece of cake. I already had a couple.
Are
of
you
the rest
serious?
Of the season.
A piece of cake is your schedule.
Yeah, are you kidding me? You got Indianapolis,
Dallas, Bengals, Jaguars.
You got a Dallas
teams you already played.
I'm not even.
But you got to face a Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, and Andy
Can
Dalton
you even
has
name
COVID.
the starter of the Dallas Cowboys who's going to play this week?
He's like
It
Neil
sounds
Goodson
Italian.
or something. Yeah.
No,
with the D.
no, it's Garrett Gilbert.
No, it's not. That's false.
Is that dude with the D? It's
Yeah,
or
he also-
number 7.
That guy also
dude,
tweeted the N-word too.
It's going to be Garrett
That's
Gilbert.
what it is. They were talking about.
They're
that.
talking either Garrett Gilbert or that whatever Rush guy.
Danucci. Ben Danucci. Danucci,
No.
yes.
With the D last name, yeah.
I saw Garrett Gilbert.
This is the guy, Ben Danucci, number 7, Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be hurt in the first quarter.
He's a James Madison University guy. That sounds terrible.
So what did the Cowboys have to do with this chocolate cake that you brought out of nowhere? Like, what's the deal with this thing?
Oh, well, during break, you mentioned the fact that we were in Riggs' house, and you said, I love this backdrop.
Oh, it's nice. It's beautiful. I mean, that's a modern age microwave. There's a Keurig over there. I'm pretty sure I see a deep fryer. That's definitely a Ninja. Oh my God, that's from Whole Foods. That's a blender? Or no, that's a food process. Wow, what a thing. Crock pot.
Where's your air fryer at, man?
Air fryer's down there, too.
It's down there.
Was that where the cake was?
No, the cake was
like you
on
got,
top of
you got
it.
the
Was
creme
back
de la
there.
creme of backdrops right here. Every appliance you need.
Well, that's more Brian's bread and butter right there. That's his his marquee. That's a shout out to him. But we're gonna talk more MLB.
Yeah, we're going to get back into the MLB. So we obviously hit on the World Series, taking that Super Bowl approach, which would be, I would say that would be interesting, of course, absolutely. But I did see this tweet out by SNY TV, so this is like a New York news station. They said, how would you feel about the trade? The Mets get Francisco Lindor. The Indians get Andres Gimenez, J.D. Martinez, and Ronnie Marcio.
J.D. Martinez.
But J.D. Martinez would be the name that stands out of all of them. And
You say J.D. Martinez?
Yeah, J.D. Martinez. He hit
All right, this is going to sound very New York biased of me.
J.D. Davis, my bad.
Yeah, J.D.
Davis.
J.D. Martinez
Davis is the Red
was
Sox.
an MVP candidate for the last 3 years.
I don't care
before
where
this past 60-game season.
I don't care where Francisco Lindor goes as long as he doesn't wear New York pinstripes. I'm fine. You can go to the Mets all day, homie. That's cool. I don't like the Yankees. I can't stand the Yankees. I don't even like the way their caps look on the Yankees.
I actually kind of hope that he does go to the Yankees because he's got to get rid of all the colored hair he does. Everything he does.
Damn, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, he likes to be.
It's a grow. Yeah, you got to grow
He
up.
goes blue one year, blonde the next year. No,
Silver.
if you're with the Yankees, you're clean shaved, clean cut, everything. You're gonna see a whole new Francisco Lindor, and I'll tell you what, that'd be awesome if the Indians can get good again when Francisco Lindor is with the Yankees for several years. And the Indians can upset them in the playoffs.
So this would be the return you're getting.
That would be amazing.
So J.D. Davis only has played in one full year, and that was in 2019. Last year, you can't really judge with the Mets, and he was with Houston before that. But this full year, he had 22 homers, 1 triple, 22 doubles.
This year?
2019.
Last
2019 when it was a full season. But his batting average was .307. So that's one of your main people. You also have Andres Gimenez.
Brought to you by BaseballReference.com.
Great website. But he's going to be in the positions of shortstop, second baseman, third baseman. So he's pretty much a left side utility guy. This year, 49 games, 3 doubles, 2 triples, 3 homers, a .263 batting average. And he looks like a small guy. He's 161, so it's always... You want to bet your weight, right? That's always what you're taught. Hit your weight. That's all you got to do.
That sounds like that would be an excuse for the Dolans to cut a lot of salary cap.
And then you also have Ronnie.
That's what that sounds like.
Don't want to quote Metallica, but sad but true.
Yeah, and I think Marcio would be the last one. I think he's a minor league. He'd be pretty much your prospect that you're getting in return. But, I mean, sooner or later we have to realize that the Indians aren't re-signing Francisco Lindor.
You're right.
And Troy even said, too, and this is the sad truth, and this kind of clears it up, but he said, I have heard from people, not listing anybody's name, but Francisco Lindor doesn't want to be here. He'll say anything to PR, but personally, up front, he will say, I want to leave.
I mean, you got to respect.
He wants to have that good fan favorite.
Right, it's not being fake. It's also not burning any bridges on the way out. That's how I can look at it as. You know what I'm saying?
But behind closed doors, he is, though. That's the thing. To fans, he's not saying anything. He'll still sell his jersey, but that's it.
But what happens behind closed doors, they look at it more as, hey, we understand it's a business, but to us and mainly all the hot chicks in Ohio, they're going to miss their Frankie. Oh, my God.
Get to the chocolate cake.
Yeah, I did.
Why didn't you eat it yet?
I'm not eating it.
It's not that. It's not.
So Riggs was comparing. Nobody even caught that, but Riggs was comparing Francisco Lindor's jersey sales to all the girls that. Go rephrase that one more time.
Oh my God, where's my Francisco Lindor? Everyone that's watching this podcast right now,
Riggs is jealous.
No. Get at us on any one of our social media and tell us how many hot girls you know that are Francisco Lindor fans. I guarantee you guys can name more than 2 or 3, or more than on your own one hand. All hot girls like Francisco Lindor. I don't know. Like, maybe my cat was even a Francisco Lindor fan. Who knows?
So anyways, It's just the sad truth, though, that at the end of the day, Francisco Lindor is gone. He's not going to come back. He wants to make his money. He's not worth his money personally, but it's just sad and upsetting because that's what's going to be the future, because you don't have a shortstop that you're comfortable with, because Lindor is what you have known for the last 8-7 years.
I'm gonna kind of go with this. I don't think the Tribe are gonna have a team here anyway in 2024 once the lease is up.
Didn't we talk about this?
Yeah, we did last week, and I don't like it. I don't want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it, but I think it might happen, and I'm nervous about it.
So
if that happens, they need to keep the stadium up, and I want to run the bases, get dirty,
turn it into League Park 2.0.
Something.
Is that what you want to do with it?
I just want to just
get
dirty on it.
And a turf field for kids to play on?
I want to run it.
Is that what you want to turn it into?
Take my cat.
That's what League Park turned into.
I played there once.
I'm not surprised.
But anyways, yeah, I'm a Make-A-Wish kid, that's why. So anyways, we're going to end up getting into the free agency, top 100 free agency, just the first kind of outstanding ones, and then we're going to get into the Indians' possible 2021 lineup because it gets a little bit more sadder. But anyways, JT Realmuto is expected 5 years, $110 million. Trevor Bauer, 1 year, $31 million. That's possibly what they're considering that he would get. 1 year. $31 million.
Okay, dude.
Because this is what he wants to do. This is the time when he wants to do the 1 year thing.
No, this is an ongoing issue with you, Payton. What is
with
your
Trevor
obsession
Bauer.
with freaking Trevor Bauer? I can't even say his name right. It's Bauer. I cannot stand him. Oh,
I didn't even think about
Why is he on the show every single week, Payton?
Because I like drones.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, you like drama.
$31 million? You saw Trevor Bauer pitch for 60 games. Yeah, he did pretty well. He was Cy Young comparable for that time period. But in every single year that he pitched with the Tribe where he was relevant, he went through that stretch where he was Cy Young material.
Yes.
But he gets out of that stretch and he becomes the normal pitcher he is, which makes him just a bit above average, not Cy Young material. He just hit his hot stretch in the right 60-game period.
I guarantee that
he's not worth $31 million.
If you owned a baseball team or on any one of your systems, you have Trevor Bauer on a fantasy team, or even if you play fantasy baseball, he's on your fantasy team. See, right there, I'm breaking him because he knows I'm right.
But anyways, this is some fan that was in one of the groups that I'm on Facebook actually had top 50.
What a source.
No.
What a source. One of the groups I was on
No,
Facebook.
he had a top 50 of where he thinks free agents are going, and just let's do the what-if possibility. He thinks Bauer's going to the White Sox. JT Realmuto's going to go to the Padres, which they need a catcher.
Wait, we're going to go through 50 of these?
No, I'm just going through the ones that are outstanding. George Springer is going to the Yankees. Justin Turner staying with the Dodgers. Michael Brantley to the White Sox. He's going very White Sox heavy, so it makes you wonder if they're actually going to be...
Because they made some type of noise this year.
Yep, and they have Tony La Russa as the manager. They think Carlos Santana is actually going to the Blue Jays. Hold on. Carlos Santana, they think, is going to the Blue Jays. And on this list, too, nobody is going to the Indians. It's a free agent. That's kind of sad.
Well, that's because the Indians are going to tank. So since we're off the topic of Cleveland sports, let's talk about real news, and that's Tony La Russa going to Detroit.
Not hip. That's news.
Or Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. 76,
No,
77 years old.
the guy from...
AJ Hinch went to
Detroit. That was big news, too.
Alex Cora went back to the Red Sox.
Yeah, but we need to talk about Tony La Russa, how father time he is coming into a 2021 season.
With COVID.
Being that old, how does he relate to players nowadays? How do you manage a team like this?
Well, my grandson was your age.
Right. What's he going to be telling stories about, Mickey Mantle when he saw him as a kid?
I mean, unless he's confident enough to know that he can... How can I put this?
His last time being a manager was in 2011. 10 years later.
Yeah, when they won
later.
When they won the World Series against the Texas Rangers.
He is 76 now. 66 was the last time.
He went out on top. He went out on top, but now he wants back in. What do you think about that?
He might not,
that's almost 10 years, though.
Maybe he might not have that old school manager's mentality where I'm the old man, I'm the skipper, I'm the captain. When I say go, no. Well, how would you like to do it? Okay, well, let me suggest this. I'm going to give you a sense of identity and kind of throwing a little bit of old school tactics in there. Who knows? And, God bless him for being that confident in his game and wanting to come back,
Riggs, do you think that's something baseball needs, though, with everybody getting, these huge personalities and, thinking they're worth $400 million like Francisco Lindor does? Do you think that maybe, more guys like La Russa who are no, this is more of a team thing?
It's not an individual thing.
I mean,
maybe this could be a start of a trend.
He had Pujols for 10 years, and then Pujols did go off and... Still got that 10-year deal.
Mm-hmm. For $300, though.
That was under La Russa.
$400. And then, but the thing is, though, is that maybe this opens the door for guys like Jimmy Leland
but that's the other thing, though. But that's
he's the same age.
Pujols, at the time when Pujols made that deal, Pujols was already a guaranteed Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He was a guaranteed Hall of Famer. That's why he made that deal. Francisco Lindor... If he retired tomorrow, he's not a guaranteed, not even a considerate for the Hall of Fame.
Just Hall of Fame for hot chicks.
Yeah, he's like a Grady Sizemore. If Lindor retired today, he's like a Grady Sizemore. But you cannot guarantee that type of money to somebody who's not a guaranteed Hall of Famer like Pujols was. Even though Pujols ended up flopping and failing, I could never give that type of money to somebody. A-Rod was the one before that. Mm-hmm. Those two, A-Rod and Pujols, were the only ones I understood giving that type of money, even though they didn't work out as well, because they mostly never do. But I could never see giving a guy who's only 4 or 5 years in the league, that a $400 million deal. It's just
the thing is, though, is that when 10 years ago, the last time Tony La Russa was around, you had these long contracts, 10-year, $300 million, but they always didn't pan out. You had your Pujols, is that near the tail end, he's irrelevant now. You have Miguel Cabrera, same thing, irrelevant. Mark Teixeira didn't even finish out his deal. I didn't think A-Rod did either. Back then, you did not have that long-term commitment. Now you actually have 10-year deals, and they're signing them younger, like Bryce Harper, 25, 26, signing a 10-year. This is going to be what age, like 3 years early, 4 years earlier than what Miguel Cabrera is doing, it seems. So it makes you wonder if this is possibly just different times and how he's going to adjust.
I have a quick question for you guys. Who's the greatest hitter that never took steroids?
Man, like modern day,
and it relates to this whole salary thing. And
no,
I never took steroids. No, even if he took steroids at any point in his career,
I'm gonna have to say Ichiro. Ichiro probably has to be the one because he was always in consideration for leading the league in hits. He'd have like 250 hits and made it normal. Okay, he has like 4,000, I think, career hits.
All right, so you say Ichiro. That's fair. Who'd you say, Riggs?
I don't know why I'm thinking like the first person that comes to mind is Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay, Cal Ripken. That's fair.
It would have to be a mix between...
Greatest hitter of all time, though?
I mean, that's just the first person that came to my mind.
Ken Griffey and Babe Ruth. Because, Ruth had in his time period...
Is this a Gypsy Fever question?
Okay, so
sponsored by...
It was like no hard... That was hard to do back then. And he also was the first one to hit it out of stadiums that had never been hit out of.
Brian is talking about Babe Ruth, which I agree with him, but he also brought up Ken Griffey Jr. And Ken Griffey Jr. is my pick. And you know what the craziest thing about Ken Griffey Jr. is? He was injury-plagued.
Yep. He should have had the home run record.
And he only had short-term contracts. He bounced back from team to team, but put together one of the most incredible careers.
So would you call him a drifter?
So no, what I'm saying is
no, that's Gypsy Freebird.
What I'm saying is that sometimes maybe I feel like the pressure for these big deals get to guys and they end up collapsing. Griffey never had that pressure. He just went out and bet he was a great hitter every day and just put together a great career in a bunch of different uniforms in Seattle and Cincinnati, Chicago. I mean, he just bounced back and forth between all those teams, and I mean, put together one of the greatest careers of all time in the heaviest steroid era ever.
What do you think he was his greatest team he played for? Like where he was?
Seattle or early Cincinnati. I would definitely say Seattle.
Oh yeah, that's what I think of Seattle when I think of Ken Griffey.
98 through 2001.
That's when he got
his home run derby game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's around the time he got the most. He was the first baseball player to get the most contracts for video game contracts.
Oh, Ken Griffey Jr. On the N64.
It was talking about home run derby.
Wait, actually, that game. Time out.
Super Sega.
Justin Doan's PS2 reviews. We have to play the clip. He sent another one. Topic today, the game today, is actually MLB The Show 06.
Ooh, I had that one.
I did too. That was actually in that game. I specifically hit, I think, I had like the career home run record. Who was on the cover
of that one?
That was 06. Vladimir Guerrero, right? Or was that 05?
No, that was MVP. Oh, Vlad?
Hold on.
I'm not
I
sure.
think our producer's
I think
Ryan
Howard.
I'm going to beat him to it.
I know Ryan Howard was
He was 08.
Yeah. 07 was somebody from the Met. No, that was 2K7 was...
David Ortiz. That was the one.
Oh,
David Ortiz.
Big Papi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, though, I was on the Indians. I had the Ken Griffey swing, ironically enough, and I hit like 800 career home runs, and the game
on
forced
rookie
me,
mode again.
Probably, but the game forced me to retire after it was the age of 40. And I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
800.
Yeah,
and I broke so many records.
He was upset he was still a 99 at the age of 40 on rookie mode.
Yeah.
He was upset.
I wanted to go to 45. I wanted to go the Barry Bonds length.
Yeah.
But we're going to play that YouTube video that Justin Doan PS2 reviews later on when we close the show.
So, speaking of video games from back in the day, did you guys see that LeBron's 2K rating this year coming up is the exact same as it was 10 years ago? At a 98 overall, which means he's still the best.
Wow. I had no clue.
Is there ever any 99s in that game, though? Because I feel like LeBron would be a 99.
Not very often. I think LeBron's been at 2 or 3 times ever in his career.
And then don't forget about the Steph Curry era.
Yep. Yeah.
But, I mean, just the video games alone, we could talk about this all day.
All right.
But anyways, going back to the Indians, and I said we're going to go back and talk about the possible starters for the team. This is with everybody opting out and everybody opting in. You got catcher Roberto Perez. First base, you're looking at Jake Bowers, Bobby Bradley, or Nolan Jones. Second base, you're looking
Santana's gone. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, unless if they could get a hometown discount.
They're not going to.
But you got second base, Yu Chang, Tyler Freeman, or Owen Miller. Miller came in the Padres trade this year. Francisco Lindor still at shortstop for now. Third base, Jose Ramirez. Left field, Josh Naylor, but he could also be considered at first. Center fielder, Mercado, Daniel Johnson in right, or Nolan Jones, who's a predominant third baseman.
Oscar Mercado.
And then DH is Franmil Reyes.
Do you not realize I saw a website. It was a My Friends page on Facebook where I got this site from.
I don't know why.
But anyway,
I don't know why you said My Friends and I thought only fans.
Well, your mind's in the wrong place. Sorry, it was rating who was the worst for every single MLB team based on WAR, wins above replacement.
What's it good for?
And Oscar Mercado was the worst on the team for WAR this past year. When I read this article, it was like a week before the season ended. And it's like, oh man, like that's who we want to have in center field right now?
But you could also have Bradley Zimmer. Yeah, right now. So you could have Bradley Zimmer in center field. You could have Oscar Mercado. Tyler Naquin, that's the end of his contract. I think that's it.
Yeah.
So he's probably not going to come back. He can't stay healthy.
I can't see him really signing anywhere.
If anything, it might be a minor league contract. Yes. Or else a very well developed team, like in the startups that you'd be looking at, like Royals, maybe even the Blue Jays with Naquin, because they are all young. Yeah. You could have Naquin. Naquin's a veteran leader then at that point.
I guess so.
But it's going to be weird without Santana. It's going to be weird.
Definitely.
Cesar Hernandez probably isn't coming back either because he earned his keep.
A 1-year deal.
Yeah, and he earned his keep, and he's going to be worth more value elsewhere.
Are you kidding me? That dude did not deserve a Gold Glove award. You know how many times I saw that dude bobble a simple ground ball but still have so much time to recover and throw it out? I mean...
That's not an E, though, at the end of the day.
It's not an E at the end of the day, but still, it's like this dude does not field the ball cleanly. Like... You don't want that happening in a big-time game because the pressure's on. Mm-hmm. Like, I saw him bobble so many balls this year. Simple grounders. And it's like, no. Nope. Especially when there's a runner on first and his only out's the first. He freezes because the runner goes by him or something. I don't know. He freezes in that situation. He is not a Gold Glover.
But with the stick, though, that's what he provided, is that he was a good leadoff person or a good two-hole hitter throughout the year. He was batting 300.
I did say he was the MVP through week 1.
Yeah,
I did say that.
Yeah, that's recorded. So,
but I'm talking about his defense. I'm not talking about his stick.
Yeah, but that's what's going to be what ends up getting him more money elsewhere. Because defensively, you got a Gold Glove whether he earned it or not. But you also have that offense, which his offense is only improving. It was improving near the tail end of Philadelphia. Was even better this year. If he stays, I would be shocked. If they end up executing something, I'd be shocked. Troy was even saying Friday, too, he thinks that the Indians might even part ways with Carlos Carrasco. He thinks that it could be a possibility.
I would not be shocked. I would not be
just
shocked.
Completely just give the team a whole new shake.
Brad Hand's already opted out, so that's going to be...
Francisco Lindor's contract is single-handedly ruining this team, and the only people that are going to be left is Jose Ramirez and maybe Roberto Perez.
But Perez, that seemed like it was a struggle with Perez, that they had to take his option.
Yeah.
But with Brad Hand opting out, you got next year... You have James Karinchak at closer. You got Emmanuel Clase in the spot where Karinchak was. That's what you have to do. Because Clase, if you have him set up...
You'd have Bieber, too.
Beebs.
Shane?
Yeah.
The rotation.
Still. Yeah, but that'd be your only
But
two
in the
guys.
bullpen, though, that's going to be your two guys.
Ugh. It's not going to be good.
Bullpen-wise, you have just that strength, and Adam Simber I wouldn't have in the majors to start off. I'd have Emmanuel Clase be the setup guy, or else have Simber gradually come back in the setup role because he didn't look good near the tail end.
He's the one coming off the suspension, right?
Yeah, with what you said, the steroids.
The roids. Juice? Do you think he can still throw 99 after that?
Dude, I think that's not an issue at all. I think it was just him being a stupid kid, and that's why he screwed up.
Gotcha.
But before we take a quick break, come back, we're going to be talking college football, Trevor Lawrence, Ohio State, Rutgers, Clemson, Notre Dame, and who your surprise NCAAF football team is. You could leave that in the comments below. We're going to hit on John Lester. And on Halloween weekend, he bought beers at 4 Chicago bars and spent $47,000 between all those bars.
What a guy.
Right. And probably still had money in his bank account. Like, that's... Whew.
And, like, the thing is, too, is he's a free agent. So imagine if he's just, like, the party scene's cool here, so I'm going to keep that in mind. Like, just, like, weeding everything out of the possible destinations that he wants to go to. Or maybe he's just a genuine human being and he just celebrating because, hey, Halloween weekend.
He's had a great career.
Yeah, and he's still around and can still play. He's not quite like I don't see him having as long as a that's not even in English. I'm struggling. That's not even as long as a career as Bartolo Colon, but he could have the distance that's close to it.
I look at it like this. I don't care if you're flipping burgers or if you're a professional athlete. You don't burn bridges wherever you're at. I don't care if you played there 1 year, 2 years. If you're on your way out, you don't burn bridges. So I think that's a great thing that he did. Because he can go back to the city whenever he wants. Like, hey, Lester, bro, dap you up. So we'll elaborate on that.
But he only had 26 drinks that were worth $2,000 a piece.
I mean, I'll always look out for you after that.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so crazy, though. Like, if you were there, let's just go into this. If you were there and you were pretty much bought a drink by John Lester, what would your reaction be? Not even John Lester, but any athlete. If you realize, like, this is imagine like a first stop bar. It's not extremely crowded, and you could know everybody.
Here's what I would do. I would toast him, take the drink, give him a thumbs up. And then I text every friend in my contacts.
I'll probably just tip my hat, nod, and I'll just take my shot. Then I'll make my little face like, oh, God, I hope he doesn't think I'm a whip.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hope that there's a basement downstairs. I'm going to go down the basement. I'm going to come back up, give him a curtain call, and then come back in the bar.
Oh. That actually looked like it was going to different round for him.
Yeah, we're like, wait.
Listen, I shaved the facial hair. I'm not a pedo anymore.
Oh my God, it's all about actions, not by looks, dog.
Wish Keith was here to see that.
But anyways, Riggs, what are you gonna do now?
Well, I'm not gonna do it now because my friends are here and my roommate's wide awake. But Manscaped, promo code Sports with a Z, SPORTZ. I'm not gonna tell you one more time. I'm not gonna tell you again. Shave your balls. Manscaped. We'll be right back. We like sports.
Shave your face, Payton. And I can't. Welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast. That's with a Z. We're with Riggs. We're with Payton with an E. And the professional one, Parker Pierce.
It's with an A. That's why Payton Hill said I'm gay.
We have new shirts.
See. I'm just used to it being always spelled with an E. Nobody's ever spelled with an A.
Yeah, I did.
Why?
Because that's the way I got it for my birthday.
Oh.
Do you guys have a link?
Look at these shirts.
No, I have to pull it up and then we can put it on after the.
Oh yeah, maybe later you can get one of these shirts. Hey, contact one of us and you can get one of these shirts. Don't listen to Payton.
This guy's hard to get
shirts and get one.
This guy's hard to get a hold of. Very hard to get a hold of. We're gonna have to start putting him in milk cartons.
He's on the phone like 3227.
3227.
Yep.
1748. Anyways, as we get back, we're talking college football again. These are the new shirts. They're very nice.
We just went over that.
No, I want to give a shout out to the graphic person that did it to us. She's on Instagram. I want to say her name is Mackenzie Lemoy, but I want to give you the exact. You're ridiculous, Riggs.
I thought I was like...
Riggs is feeling some kind of way today. So let me find this though. But anyways, she's the one that made the design. You guys start talking Ohio State's win against Penn State. While I end up finding the exact contact.
I mean, it was a good win. It wasn't a great win. I mean, Penn State struggled heavily against Indiana, especially offensively, and they came back. And I mean, it wasn't like a huge blowout for Ohio State. It wasn't a great win either. I mean, it makes you think like how dominant is Ohio State this year? Is Penn State even legit, or is Ohio State just maybe not where we think they are because they've had a few weeks behind from the rest of the NCAA?
I like that analogy. That's good. I'm so damn confident in the Ohio State Buckeyes. I truly am. I'm so confident that there is no team in college football that intimidates me, scares me, or worries me. Even if it's not the Buckeyes' year, whatever, it happens. I just have that much faith in that front office, that front line, and that head coaching that they will find ways to tweak and get it together.
You know what's funny? You just call the college team a front office when it would be all recruits. It's not like they trade for college players.
Oh, no.
Trevor Lawrence, you want to come to Clemson? I'll give you Justin Fields.
The NCAA is a business.
It is, no.
Peyton, why would you say that?
I can't believe
you just said that live on this podcast, that the NCAA is a business. Peyton, you got to stop saying that, dude. The NCAA is not a business. No.
I see where we're going.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Go ahead.
Anyways, I want to end up giving Mackenzie a shout out, so I finally found it, and then we'll get back into the NCAA is not a business. But the username on Instagram is Mackenzie, and that's Mackenzie MAC Kenzie.Lemoine LEMOINE.designs. She's the one that made both our t-shirts, the logo from before with the bobblehead, which was very fancy. We had this one made as well. If you end up staring hard enough, it's not her fault. It's the print, but you could see faded and sports, football, basketball, baseball, and whatnot.
But a shout out, it's a great shirt.
It's unique.
Seriously.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's got that rustic look,
But anyways, as we were talking, you mentioned Ohio State. So Riggs even said he's not worried. I'm not worried for Ohio State either. That Penn State game, it seemed like they ended up... Well, Master Teague, the running back, hell of a name.
I thought about to say Master P. I'm like, what?
Yeah, that's my nickname.
Oh my God. Go.
Stop. Anyways, so Master Teague was the one that was the running back. He ended up having a breakout game pretty much because he had 100 yards rushing. That first week, people were concerned that maybe he's just a downhill rusher. Maybe he's just not that guy. And that's after one game. You're not going to get a J.K. Dobbins. You're not going to get Ezekiel Elliott. You're not going to get a Maurice Clarett. You're not going to get a Carlos Hyde. You're not going to get all these guys.
Carlos Hyde and Maurice Clarett were more downhill runners.
Right, but you're not going to get these explosive runners all the time. You're going to have different styles of running. And you have to realize that adjustment. And you want to end up hitting on a little bit later on about Browns fans and a certain word, but college fans are the same way. They are so Luke Fickle about everything that goes on.
Luke Fickle.
See, I didn't want to give it away completely for Riggs' segment. But anyways, it's just so aggravating because they'll turn on you before you even have a chance to prove yourself. The freshman wide receiver from Ohio State, it's not Olave, it's the other one that ended up having a touchdown catch, I want to say. He had the same thing last week. Olave did too. If you succeed, they like you. If they don't succeed, they don't like you until you prove otherwise, and that's what sucks. But as we end up hitting next week, this Saturday's college football games, we got Ohio State versus Rutgers at Ohio State. Rutgers isn't even a matchup, honestly.
Okay, so how quickly are we going to go through this segment? Because I'm saying, Ryan Day, you promised 100 points on Michigan. No, bud, you have a better shot at getting 100 points on Rutgers this week. So you better do that if you even think you got a shot scoring 100 on Michigan. But go, O-H-I-O. I love you, but you better score 100 on Rutgers if you think you're going to score 100 on Michigan.
He ain't lying. He's really not.
No, were you going to get into any other thing about Ohio State and Rutgers, or just you want to see 100 points?
I want to see 100 on the board. Let's go. Do it.
So, the thing is obviously it's a blowout. Sad thing is I feel like if Ryan Day was BSing in week 1 against Nebraska, saying he didn't think his freshman quarterback could score, he didn't think they were set up for success, I think that was either a cover-up if he starts running up the score, but people get pissed when you run up the score. If you run it up against Rutgers, it's not going to be a good thing. If you do it against Michigan, that rivalry is going to be 10 times bigger and better and more aggressive because you literally were dominated by a tough Ohio State team that 100-10, whatever. Doesn't even have to be a shutout. They're saying they're throwing up 100. Ohio State, I think, is going to end up holding back this week. I could see him scoring 63, but not 100.
Obviously, duh. I mean, gosh, Payton, you're going to go that deep into it? Right. I was saying 100 is in, we all know that Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes are not going to put up 100 points on Michigan. It's not going to happen. We're hoping for 63. That's what we're hoping. No, they're going to put up 45, maybe.
Do I have to stop taking things so literal?
Yeah, you take it so literally. And you go so deep into your analogy about your literacy. I'm like, what?
I never even realized that.
There you go.
I need to stop. Because you guys need to be like, okay, I'm joking. You need to have my sense of humor.
Well, no, maybe you should have a real Ohio sports
yeah, you just don't know what's going on. You just, Yeah, that's what happens when you root for the Steelers.
Yeah, but anyways, next topic. Is Clemson versus Notre Dame. No Trevor Lawrence once again. Clemson narrowly beat Boston College. You got Notre Dame that's ranked number 4, Clemson number 1. This is going to be interesting.
No Trevor Lawrence?
I've seriously been hearing a lot of talk through the town because I see a lot of people at my line of work and, my Notre Dame played like crap. What's going on with my Fighting Irish? And it's to the point now where I might want to put a microscope onto these boys. I'm like, whoa. Are they really playing as bad, or are they Luke Fickle?
Go on, Parker. Everybody's taking my wordage.
All right, this is the week that ends. Was it Dabo Swinney's little rain down there in Clemson? This is the week that ends that. No Trevor Lawrence while they're the number 1 seed. You have Notre Dame coming in at number 4. They are going to stomp Clemson. Put them down out of the playoffs just with that victory. Trevor Lawrence is going to come back from injury, and he has to be absolutely perfect. And he's going to have pressure on him for the first time.
You missed this on the First Stop Bar and Grill pregame show for the Browns on Sunday. Parker ended up mentioning, too, that with Trevor Lawrence, if they end up losing because he's not playing, would you rank that as a team fault or basing it on one player? I went the route of one player doesn't make a team.
Exactly. It's a team sport.
So you have to win even if your backup is a backup. You have to succeed no matter what. That's what all good teams do. Mm-hmm. So glad we agree on that one. But with Clemson and Notre Dame, it's going to be an interesting matchup, per usual. It's possible college football playoff implications. It's Clemson has to, even Trevor Lawrence, with him missing time, he has not had the success because he missed out on that week. Justin Fields stepped up and moved up in the week for Heisman rankings. It's just, you miss a week this year, it can screw up a lot from your accolades to your success for a team, anything whatsoever.
Trust me, Trevor Lawrence right now is really not giving a dang about what his accolades are in college. You know what he's worried about?
Playing for the Jets?
Is how high in the draft he's going to go. That's all he cares about. That is all he cares about right now. So he's going to protect himself. He's going to be safe. It's his senior year. He should have came out last year. He did not. He's got a minor injury. He's going to milk this thing for maybe weeks to where Clemson might drop out significantly.
But anyways, I want to get to Trevor Lawrence's statement that he made last week. He had a chance, and this was before the whole entire COVID situation, but he ended up making...
He got COVID on purpose. He got COVID on purpose. He's trying to sit out for a little bit.
Hold on, let me find it. Or
maybe the school's just putting it up. I don't know. I'm going to stop talking before I get fired.
He's just going all conspiracy theory and all. So, with what Trevor Lawrence said, I'm not going to search for it forever, but he ended up saying that, he didn't say it, but one of the analysts ended up saying that if you were Trevor Lawrence, I would sit back and I would stay in school. I would just try to avoid the Jets at all costs. I mean,
he's kind of not lying, but it's...
And I want to say he even said the statement similar to that, like he didn't want to come out if he ends up playing for the Jets. Same thing Joe Burrow did, but Joe Burrow right now shut his mouth and he's playing for the Bengals.
But at the same time, though, do you think Joe Burrow had family to influence that? We're from Athens, Cincinnati, hour away.
Yeah, it probably did. It probably did.
But anyways, as we end up going into the the NCAAF as a whole, college football, who has been your most surprising team so far in college football?
To be truly honest, I have not paid attention to that much college football this year.
I'm going to tell you...
One of these times I'm going to wait for Riggs to be like, LeConte, have not watched college football this year. I promise.
We're a sports talk show, dude. My most surprising team, I think, it's coming out of the Big Ten. I know it's early, but seeing Indiana upset Penn State, even though Penn State didn't give that much of a battle, but gave a little bit of a battle to Ohio State, makes me see that, like, okay, maybe Indiana might be on the verge of being for real. And I was a little surprised by that.
So I got a couple,
because they have been out of it for a long time.
I have a couple, that being you have Liberty at 25 in the top 25 rankings. That's not usually a school in the top 25. You have Marshall. Yeah,
but they're never going to get any consideration. Indiana's still at least a Big Ten team where they could still win the Big Ten championship and be a playoff contender. There's no way Liberty, no matter what they do, if they go undefeated, is going to be in the college football playoff.
But it just seems this year
you have only 4 teams.
But you have so many weird teams that are actually being good college football programs, and maybe that's just because there's conferences that decided to opt out. You have Coastal Carolina that's not really known as a football school, not really known as a sports school in general.
I was surprised to see them, baseball a little bit.
Yeah, baseball, but that's
Coastal
about
Carolina,
it.
Yeah, I was surprised to see them in the top 25.
So you have so many random, just random pairings. I was trying to think of a word for it, but just so many pairings that you don't expect. Notre Dame is tough, but they're not usually a top 4 team. That's a surprise. Yeah. Liberty, you have We Are Marshall, you have Coastal Carolina. It's just very random teams, and they're not in college football playoff scenarios. They're not in any scenarios whatsoever, but it's the fact that they're in the top 25 that in a normal year they'd get a good bowl game.
You know what that is? That's considered the highest level of participation trophy available. That's what that is. That is all that is. They're not in a major conference. They don't get a shot. Expand the playoffs to 8 teams. Give them a shot.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to be changing things over to NFL as we will get into our picks of the week. We're going to end up going into that and then going to commercial and coming back talking football and Browns.
By the way, I want to let you know that this week I allowed the one and only Mad Dog to make my picks this week. And I supported every single decision she made.
Well, it looks like Keith Migra-Hills might be out of the running this week because he did not make his picks.
Uh-oh.
But, and he was making up ground too. Right now we have Keith in last at 59. Riggs above him at 61. Parker Pierce at 63 picks. I myself am at 65. I made up ground on you, jumped over you.
That was a weird week last week, people. That was just a weird weather week. That's all it was.
And Tyler is at 69.
And nice. Yes, just and just to elaborate on our group message, yes, Cleveland fans, me voting for Las Vegas to beat the Browns in last week pick'em. I felt like I did jinx us, and I can admit that, and I apologize. But we'll talk about that after the break.
But as we end up going into the Thursday night game, we got Green Bay against his 49ers. Everybody picked Green Bay except for Parker Pierce. Mad Dog Pierce ended up picking the pick.
That.
I'll tell you what, George Kittle is back, and the San Francisco 49ers have been on a little bit of a run lately.
Jimmy Garoppolo isn't, though.
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They're winning ball games, and they have the highest percentage of salary cap in the entire NFL on the injured reserves, and they're still finding ways to win ball games.
It's going to be an interesting one.
Richard Sherman, Joey Bosa, everybody.
So that's going to be an interesting Thursday night game. I would rather replace that one with a Monday night and the Monday night one on Thursday because Monday's more so the primetime slot. Monday's looking a little rough again with Monday Night Football. But your first 1 o'clock game, you got the Browns versus the bye week. Who do you guys got?
The bye week. See, that's Ohio team chemistry right there. You being a Pittsburgh fan living in Ohio, you will never, ever get that.
You know what? You know who the Titans had when they ended up facing the bye week? They had COVID.
Yeah, well, there was an undisclosed Browns player that had COVID today or yesterday and didn't show up. So I heard that on the radio.
Next game, you got Baltimore against the Indianapolis Colts. Everybody picked the Ravens. I think this has to be a bounce-back game for him. Phillip Rivers just is not looking mobile in the pocket anymore. He's just suffering. He probably should have retired instead ended up leaving the Chargers.
He's got 8 kids.
Yeah, he's got 8 kids.
Yeah, and he's married to his wife. He ain't paying child support.
Hey, doesn't matter.
hey.
Yeah, but you know what though? He's still got to make that extra money. I mean, eight ways splits very thinly.
Don't give him money.
You got to take care of your kids. Play for a couple more years. He's able to do it. I mean, they're above 500.
Philip, stop producing such great sperm for your wife.
It's not that. He just doesn't know.
For a minute, I thought you were talking to our producer, Brian. I'm like, did he forget his name? Just the way I see you look over like, Phil.
Can you imagine like 15 years from now when there's 3 different rivers in the NFL?
Is that a Steelers reference? A 3 Rivers reference?
No, there's going to be 3 rivers, and one of them's going to play for Pittsburgh.
That's like
and he's going to be the worst one. Like the Mannings and stuff.
Yeah, the Mannings are the
like
Tom
the man.
Brady.
Yeah.
If you get Tom Brady to get your wife pregnant, you're gonna have to go superstar.
Yep.
So next game, you got the Panthers against the Chiefs. Everybody's picking the Chiefs.
Hell yes.
Carolina fell to the Falcons this week. You had PJ Walker in there. So obviously, I think Carolina ends up losing Kansas City easily. You got the Titans versus the Bears. Riggs picked the Bears. Everybody picked the Titans.
I don't know. I see Chicago figuring some things out in that game.
I'm sorry, you lost to Cincinnati, and you're the only team that didn't lose, that lost to Cincinnati, and you're in there with the Jets. The Jets are the only other team that lost to Cincinnati. You're like, dude, we got to get back on schedule, so I think they're going to be fine this week, and they're going to actually take care of some business. Feed Derrick Henry the ball.
So you went against your own pick since Mad Dog picked Tennessee, right?
No. Feed Derrick Henry the ball from Tennessee. You confused me because, you were talking, I was thinking Chicago. Anyways, nonetheless. Oh my God, pay attention.
I was confused. Denver against Atlanta. We split. Tyler and Riggs picked the Broncos. Parker and I picked the Atlanta Falcons.
Julio Jones and Matt Ryan looked like they were really on page last week.
Mm-hmm. They're coming off of a win, too, and that
gave them momentum. And Denver, I don't know. Denver has been nothing to write home about.
No, you have Drew Lock in there that was hurt for the majority of the year, and then you had quarterback 2, and then you had quarterback 3.
You're going to take Matt Ryan every day.
Absolutely. Next game, the Detroit Lions against the Minnesota Vikings. Riggs and Parker picked Minnesota. I picked and Tyler picked the Detroit Lions. I wanted to pick Minnesota, but I couldn't, just based on the fact that Detroit has had success more so often than Minnesota. Although Minnesota did blow up, I'm not trusting them yet to actually be successful and win a game against a bad team when they've been struggling throughout the year.
All I know is when they struggled throughout the year, Dalvin Cook still produced. And when they won throughout the year, Dalvin Cook produced. And Dalvin Cook will produce every single week.
No, I got nothing.
Next game, Houston against Jacksonville. This is going to be a toilet bowl.
Yeah.
Parker and Riggs picked the Jaguars. Tyler and I picked the Texans. I break it down this way. The Texans had a win, almost had a win against the Titans. You have team versus team. Gardner Minshew, I don't even think is starting because he shaved his mustache and turned into Peyton Vince. Anyways, they have their backup in. Houston Texans still have Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson, if it's quarterback versus quarterback, and I think that's what it's going to come down to, Texans are going to win that game.
Here's what I'm saying. I think that this is right now what Baker Mayfield was going through last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Gardner Minshew. Is right now, like, he needs to get that win that makes the people of the city kind of believe in him a little bit. Get him back to, like, oh, Gardner, like, he blew up as a guy around there like Baker did. So this is like I think this is his victory that it like keeps the hope around for like the people of Jacksonville, thinking they found their quarterback. He's gonna show up.
I think Houston's gonna take a loss in this game, and I feel like they're not gonna have such a great season whatsoever. The Houston Texans, like, I see no spark, I see no fire. Jacksonville could I feel like if Jacksonville will walk out with the win in this because I picked them, but it's.
That's some confidence. Bold.
I'll tell you what. We're giving more analysis on the garbage bowl of the week than any other game.
They're gonna win because I picked them. Sup, camera? I'm not giving you an opportunity to speak anymore. Anyways, you got the Giants versus the Washington Football Team Redskins. Tyler and Parker picked the Washington Football Team Redskins. Payton and Riggs picked the Giants. I picked the Giants because they are coming off of a game when they showed up against the Buccaneers. Daniel Jones, his team played well against a team led by Tom Brady. It's a tough team. They're 6-1 or 6-2, and the Giants almost beat them, making them 5-3 instead. I think that momentum carries over. Washington Football Team, Parker, why?
I'm taking them because the Giants are still a young team, and they're the type of team that plays to their competition. I mean, they're not able to pull it out, but they play to their competition. They always play a good game. I just feel like they're going to get smacked in the face by a team called the Washington Football Team. That just sounds like a type of team that just wants to pound your face in the dirt. You know, they come up showing up ready to play, and the Giants are just too young. And I don't know. I want
more
Alex,
analysis.
I want Alex Smith to come out and get some playing time, and I just want to see him on the field and win some games.
I feel like the youngness of the New York Giants and that explosiveness without their best running back in the entire league and the entire game, and them coming off of a win, that's going to give them confidence. That's going to give them some type of swagger going in. I think the Washington garbage brown football team it's crappy. I feel like they're playing crappy football. I can't probably name you no more than 5 guys on their roster.
Ryan Kerrigan wants out too.
Yeah.
Ryan Kerrigan wants out of the Washington Football Team, but
so next game you got the Seattle Seahawks against the Buffalo Bills. Tyler picked Buffalo. Everybody else picked Seattle. This is going to be a good game. I think it's going to actually come down to the wire, but Buffalo is a hard one to pick against, but Seattle and Russell Wilson just seem unstoppable for the most part. Arizona just got him on a bad day, I think, at the end of the day.
I also think Arizona is pretty legit at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have 2 top top tier wide receivers to make plays for them. But I think with Seattle this year, I think Russell Wilson's going to get back on track this week. He's had such a great season. I mean, he's a touchdown machine, and I think as long as Bobby Wagner and that defense can hold them to under 30, they'll be fine.
Seattle was caught on the bad game, and I feel like Wilson, he's playing for revenge. He's coming out, he's playing for revenge. He is the only quarterback in the National Football League that I can trust him throwing it and threading the needle in between a defensive player and his receiver or tight end that he's throwing to. His confidence, his accuracy for that football, you can't go wrong with that. They're going to come out for revenge and they're going to come out swinging.
Next game, Vegas versus the Chargers. Tyler and Parker pick the Raiders. I'm picking the Chargers, so's Riggs. Justin Herbert, I've been on that train all year, and I think the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be in shock since they played in cold weather, and now they're going back to California. I think that's going to end up making an impact just because that's an adjustment of cold weather versus warm weather.
You get time to practice.
I take Vegas because, I mean, they beat the Browns in the trenches big time this past week. It was a cold game. You knew it was going to be a battle of the trenches. And Las Vegas Raiders manhandled the trenches the entire game, offensively and defensively. They ran the ball with Jacobs, so they just kept the ball moving. They took up almost
like 6
2/3.
plays.
They took up 2/3 of the clock just by running the ball with Jacobs. They didn't score a lot, but they controlled the entire game. I think the Browns got the ball 6 times the entire game. It was that low. And on offense, we couldn't run the ball. The defense seemed to be in the backfield quite often. It was a sloppy game. And I feel like you have a strong trench game, you're going to win most football games, and that's why they're above 500. And I think Derek Carr is going to lead them, with everything else and just push them into the playoffs.
So Arizona versus Miami. Everybody picked Arizona but me. I'm picking Miami. I'm on the Tua train. After you beat the Rams and Tua looked great in his first game, I'm going to have to pick Miami. I cannot pick against him just because when you beat the Rams are a tough team this year. And in your debut game, everybody was saying you're setting him up for failure. And he showed us the middle finger and went, I'm better than that.
Well, here, I picked Arizona because we're just going back to the the Heisman Trophy Award winner competition between the two of them 2 years ago when Kyler Murray ended up winning. And Kyler Murray has proven himself in the NFL over the past year and a half. I mean, he has really brought this team around. He has all the weapons available to him. He has a good run game, a good line. He has so many weapons.
Veteran wide receiver.
So many weapons. I mean, I'm going to throw out a name that you might not even know of, Payton. His name's Christian Kirk.
Wow.
He's the third wide.
I picked him up on
this
fantasy.
guy, behind DeAndre Hopkins and behind Larry Fitzgerald, you have Christian Kirk absolutely dominating. This offense is very scary, and they might end up being an NFC Championship team.
Next game, Pittsburgh against Dallas. Everybody's picking Dallas. Next game, New Orleans against
Everybody is picking Dallas. You're right. We're all picking Dallas. Exactly.
I can't read.
Go
Everybody
Dallas.
Was picking Pittsburgh.
You should elaborate on that, why you're picking Dallas.
Oh, I'm picking Dallas. You know why? Because Zeke is going to play quarterback, and he's going to throw and hand the ball off to himself, and he's going to lead the Cowboys past the Steelers. That's what's going to happen.
Everybody picked the Steelers to win that game. Correction.
There you go.
New Orleans against Tampa Bay. Everybody's picking Tampa Bay except for Riggs. Why really quick? Make it quick, then we're going to break.
Because Tom Brady still needs to be humbled in the NFC conference. That's it.
And because he picked them. Now, Monday night game, New England Patriots against the Jets. Everybody's picking the Patriots. That's it for the picks. When we get back, we'll be talking Browns. We'll be talking trade deadline moves that never happened. And Riggs wants to go on a rant about something, but right now it's manscaping that he wants to rant about.
Manscaped. Use the promo code SPORTS with a Z. SPORTZ. Manscaped. Ball toner, ball deodorant. Shave your balls. Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, but your balls will thank you. Manscaped. We'll be right back on the We Like Sportz podcast.
After this. Meanwhile, at the same time, you're also having Chris Antonetti say that the Indians are in such a terrible predicament, blah, blah, blah. They lost out on money. They can't afford people. obviously, I mean, everybody's losing their jobs here. Unless if you're somehow set in a professional dart player, I'm assuming that you lost your job. Unless if you're a professional athlete that has that secured long-term contract, like a LeBron in the NBA or like a Mike Trout in the MLB or whatever, a lot of people ended up losing out on money. It's not just organizations. But anyways, that's beside the point. So obviously it kind of sounds, and there's rumors early on that the Indians were going to be sellers.
Oh, so I'm sorry. I apologize. You just rambled like crazy. I totally lost you there. But I know you're talking about the Indians, and yeah, but that was, God, you just did not stop, did you? I thought this was supposed to be like a back and forth type thing. But anyway, Indians, I think they'll be all right. I know you mentioned something about 32 games. I think, with the 7-inning rule, I feel like with the Tribe's starting rotation, it's always been great. Their bullpen's been like kind of what's been a little iffy over the past couple years. Once Cody Allen and Andrew Miller ended up leaving the bullpen, I think that's when they started to go downhill. But you were rambling for a bit, so I lost whatever else you said. But I'd take over 32 games because, I mean, their starting rotation is just too good.
Well, if you'd let me get to my point that I was trying to make.
8 minutes later? Jesus.
I'm sure Parker has done this plenty of times, but if a fan goes up to you, you don't have the obligation to give them the time of day, correct?
You're right, you don't, but I'll tell you what, in the professional sports world, it's good to see stuff like this happening because, yeah, they do look up to you because you are on TV. You're the one who is setting an example, even though you might not even think it and you're getting paid to do it. You're really touching the hearts of a lot of people around the world. I mean, this reminds me a lot of the time when John Cena granted you a wish on the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So this type of stuff is so great to see in the sports world because it's needed, because it inspires people and it makes everybody just fall in love with sports even more.
Well, I wish I would have remembered that if I would have known.
That was good. That was good.
Do you remember what that wish was for?
Just you being you, probably.
Man, you know what? If we could just get the Dude Perfect world record video up, and if you could actually respect these gentlemen, I know obviously you have too much going on in your life to actually pay attention and know who Dude Perfect is.
I love Dude Perfect. Dude Perfect, those are some great dudes. They really are. I've seen all their stuff. There's the hoopy shoot trick shot stuff. Yeah, that's good times.
Wow, I'm shocked.
I think they got a show on Nickelodeon too.
Is that what you
That's
watch?
very professional.
Watching Nickelodeon?
Oh yeah, SpongeBob. It's where I get half my jokes because I got to look at a clown like him, just like I look at you.
And welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast.
Whoa. First of all, as we were walking back, you stepped on my shoe, and you untied my shoe, so now my shoe is not tied. I am not in perfect balance at the moment. So you get your grubby little fingers, and you tie my shoe. Come on.
This is embarrassing. Oh my, he's tying his shoe for him.
Well, he needs to stop making dumb decisions.
Why are these Velcro?
If it's Velcro, why is it taking you so long?
Like I said, Make-A-Wish Foundation.
You're right.
So let's see this. Let's see who you are, what you really are. Did you enjoy the Cavs championship more than you enjoyed the Steelers' 2 Super Bowls?
Yeah.
And this guy.
I was also a kid when I was younger, and I had a.
You were a kid when you were younger? No way.
Man.
This is
really a jerk.
The producer's losing it.
Oh, man. But anyways, I was going to get into one more NFL thing, but it looks like it's almost time to take another break. When we get back, though, I guess Parker Pierce did understand this, and you were too because you used to be a wrestling fan. The rest of the show, now it's time for the main event, baby.
I like it.
It's baseball time. We got Trevor Bauer. Is baseball back? And we have the Cleveland Indians. Don't go anywhere.
And also make sure that you follow us on Instagram, pro_Parker_P. You got Toolbag, Pittsburgh Steeler, Head and Shoulders. And you got over here Keith Migra hyphen.
And welcome back to the We Like Sportz Podcast with Parker Pierce, Riggs, Payton, and our producer, Brian. Before we end up going into Browns talk, guys, it's almost time for a haircut. We're going to go to Cisco.
Okay.
So,
I need a lineup really badly. Like, look at this, Riggs.
Yeah,
dude.
me and you both.
I haven't gotten my hard part in over a month. I need Cisco to hook me up.
Cisco.
you know how you're going to get hooked up? You're going to contact them at 440-320-2691. Is any haircut needs whatsoever from Lorraine? Yeah, we're in not North Ridgeville today, which is close to Lorraine, Elyria area. We're in Cleveland. We don't have to specify where.
Right.
But anyways, in Lorraine, that's where you could get Cisco, which isn't a far trip. That's 30 minutes.
So do you mean next week I'm going to actually look good?
You could. That could be a possibility.
Oh, man.
But again, if you want your hair cut, call him, text him, whatever, 440-320-2691. Assuming since he's a busy man, give him a call and leave a voicemail.
And tell him you heard it here from the We Like Sportz
podcast. And Cisco
podcast.
can even hopefully make Payton look normal.
Yeah, we're going to get there one day. But anyways, also shout out to my friends Opposite of Experts Podcast. It's also our softball team, Brandon, Pat. Anyways, as we end up going back in, didn't you want to shout someone else out too?
Manscaped.
In the backfield with Keith Migra and Peyton Hillis. Anyone in part of the KM Voice family underneath the KM Voice umbrella, we want to shout out to you guys. Seriously, thank you for joining us.
That's it. I'll hold that up, I guess. That's in the backfield with Peyton Hillis and Keith Migra. But anyways,
hold it up there longer. I mean, we should just keep this right here.
You could hold it. I'm gonna go.
Let's just
football.
pretend Peyton and Keith are with us here, Riggs. Let's just go with this. We're going into Browns football, right? We're going to Browns football. Let's have Keith and Peyton Hillis live on the We Like Sportz podcast. This is perfect, Riggs. Hey, do you have any questions you'd like to ask Peyton Hillis about the Browns right now?
I mean, see, I've only have just random questions I should have asked you even more when I first met you. That's not according to Browns, but just about how the average football player conducts themselves outside of the National Football League. Just your basic questions like who pays your bills, do you guys get free food when you're at the facility, just random stuff like that. But we can go into more professional questions.
Oh, gotcha. He said, just keep working hard and be better, and you'll get there too.
Thank you, PH.
All right. So hold on. So I have a question for Keith. Keith, now that baseball season's over, and I know you're a diehard baseball fan, and now you got to do this football talk all the time. What are your thoughts about how the NFL is conducting this season? With all the COVID protocols going on. Break the wine. Wait, Riggs, he was talking to you.
I know it's a child's game.
But anyways. We're back. We're talking Browns. I'm back. Get that tablet out of my face. Oh, yes, man. I'm back. I was silent for too long. Guys, what are your thoughts with the fact that the Browns lost to a team that's used to warm weather and the weather is a factor?
Why are you talking to us about this?
It's the fact
you do not belong in this room when we have this conversation.
How I feel about that situation, I feel that the players were not mentally ready for that weather. I feel like in the first quarter when all that SNOW and that rain
it already happened. Why are you smelling it?
I don't care. When that started to hit, I believe that not a sense of urgency, but a sense of panic into those players. It's like, oh great, I have to get used to this on the fly already. Which that's no excuse. You're a professional athlete playing professional football. You should be used to any conditions on any given Sunday on any given time. That game, it really didn't reminisce of the Ice Bowl that they had in the 70s and the 80s between the Raiders and the Cleveland Browns. But it's two throwback franchise teams, and I knew that game was going to be a battle. I knew we were not going to just walk away with the victory.
Hold on. You're calling the Las Vegas Raiders a throwback franchise?
Well, no, I'm saying throwback as in the word Raiders and the logo.
It'd be like if the Browns moved to Baltimore and called themselves the Baltimore Browns.
No, they call themselves the Baltimore Ravens.
Exactly.
But it's still
they still took their team.
It's still the name Raiders is still there. And the black and gold is still there. They still had some type of identity when they moved.
It is. I just see them as being a whole new franchise though. And you know what?
So far, so good.
And
knock on wood if you're with me.
Al Davis still the owner? Or his son, I should say.
I want to say his son. I think Al Davis died.
So it is still the same front office and everything. I mean, good
same.
for
That's
them.
a family business for real, if you really think about it.
It was a tough game for the Browns. I mean, like you got to expect that type of thing to happen when you're literally right on the lakefront. Like that, you know what you're getting into.
It was windy here, like 30 miles per hour. You're closer to the lake, it's probably 15 miles more.
It was terrible. Mm-hmm. It was absolutely awful. I mean, there's memes going around about people sitting in the stands at Cleveland Brown Stadium during that thing. I mean, it was just a tough game. It's hard to get over, but you know what? Doesn't make me stop believing in the type of power this offense can bring just because of some weather conditions. It's not going to be like that all the time, but if you want to be in playoff contention and play playoff football in Cleveland, you're going to have to get used to it.
What people are going to have to get used to, and what people are too used to because we're so fickle in this
That's the word, by the way.
Yeah, we're so fickle in this godforsaken town when it comes to our football team. Kevin Stefanski so far has been the best coach, I would say, in the last 5 years for the Cleveland Browns organization. For the last 5 years, I think he's our best coach. Would you believe it? No, you can't believe it because we're Cleveland, Ohio, and we want everything to happen so perfect. There's people calling for Kevin Stefanski to lose his job because he took one. Exactly. Where I work at, people were coming up to me. They need to fire him. They need to fire him. And I tried my best while I was stocking the freezers. I wanted to give them my opinion. I just laughed it off.
But you handed him a We Like Sportz business card.
You know it. The thing that pisses me off, they want this. Some people want this man fired for what? I honestly think next to the Baltimore game, the week one. No, scratch that. The Pittsburgh game and this game were the two worst games Coach Stefanski has had so far under his rookie head coach season here as a Cleveland Browns organization. And if people really want Kevin Stefanski to be fired from the Cleveland Browns organization, look at our record and look at the Minnesota Vikings record. Yeah, thought so. Shut your mouth. Let this man do his job. Let our front office kind of mimic what the Pittsburgh Steelers do. I remember a few years back when Pittsburgh was shit in the bed. Were they probably calling for Mike, whatever his job?
Tomlin.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin. They probably were calling for his job. But guess what? That front office had faith and confidence. They don't hit that panic button every single year when it comes to this head coaching. And that's the thing that pisses me off, that people in this town are so damn afraid. One coach has one or two bad games, they want him out. Newsflash, Cleveland, they all can't be Belichick. They can't be Nick Saban.
We got rid of Belichick. Well, we lost him. But
do you understand what I'm saying? Get over yourselves. Stuff's going to happen, Cleveland. Seriously. He's no Hugh Jackson. I'm done. I'm done. Continue.
Stephen A., thanks for joining us. Anyways, he's got a point. And the thing is that Kevin Stefanski has been the most successful head coach with the winning record since 2014 when they were 7-9. And Brian Hoyer was the one that started that season, didn't finish it because the Johnny Manziel experience. I want to say we hit on that Sunday. But anyways, you have a successful head coach, and you see Minnesota struggling. I even mentioned it like a week ago, that Minnesota and the Browns swapped. They switched, they swapped. That's the success in which an offensive coordinator, head coach ended up making an impact. But enough about Cleveland Browns fans being fickle. What about the thoughts about the Browns trade deadline deals, even though they didn't make any? What are your thoughts? I mean, they could have improved so many different positions.
They needed to get some depth in the defensive secondary. I was really upset that they didn't pursue like an Eli Apple or try to make a trade. And I'm also a little upset, especially after last week's performance. I mean, I know, weather conditions were tough, but still, Baker couldn't seem to connect with any receivers. I mean, you had Hodge as the number 3. I would like to see them go out and maybe like try to make a trade for, like a Kenny Stills or a guy like that.
And Ted Ginn Jr., though, is also a free agent now, too.
That's a hometown boy.
I'd like to see
And I want to say he was never a Cleveland Brown.
Nope.
He was close to it. You had Terrell Pryor that did
Carolina
that. And
Panthers.
He was that hometown boy. I mean, that's...
His dad knows his high school football. I've got my hair cut next to Ted Ginn Sr. one time. Dead serious.
But, I mean... Nonetheless, with the whole entire idea of Ted Ginn coming to Cleveland, that I feel like the Browns are relying on free agents, which isn't a bad thing, but you have to... The defense, the secondary specifically, Andrew Sendejo is not your guy at safety. They should have changed that. Everybody's been saying it for weeks.
Yeah, I'm sick of that.
Your linebackers. That's why we need one of the customers at my work ended up saying that if he were able to start a Browns team or any team whatsoever, he'd take 3 players on the defense, and that's it. Myles Garrett, Mack Wilson, Denzel Ward. That's it.
Yeah, that really is it. Maybe Sheldon Richardson.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Maybe Ogunjobi. Taki is still young.
He can't even make a freaking tackle.
But
he missed it. The Raiders game, he whiffed completely.
Carl Joseph hasn't been bad this year. He's been good. He just can't stay on the field. But that's the thing. It's that even Ronnie Harrison that they got in that trade with Jacksonville. They're guys who are like hit and miss. It's a lot of hit and miss, and unfortunately, the injuries are taking the hit away from the team, and it's a lot of missing lately.
I think the Cleveland Browns, I don't know if they maybe even tried or attempted to make any moves in this trade deadline. The fickle fan in me feels like they dragged their feet and they didn't give a shit. And they were just, we'll just work around this season and then we'll just look at people during the off season and we'll fall in love with your free agents as we talked about. But maybe there was nobody on their radar that they didn't like personally. The We Like Sportz crew right here, Eli Apple, that would have been great. You know what I'm saying? But fans can give their opinions, all over the world, anytime, any second. But it all depends on what that suit and Berea wants to do.
And I do want to end up getting on the topic of one more NFL general football topic, and it's with what somebody made the statement regarding Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. It was Rex Ryan saying about the Patriots. He said, it just goes to show you that the greatest player in the game has a hell of a lot bigger impact than the greatest coach in the game.
I mean, Belichick's not the one taking the snaps.
Yep.
But Belichick taught everything Tom Brady knew, and Tom Brady was a sponge and soaked that up. That's what sucks. And you're not going to find that. You're not finding success in New England right now. They might even be looking at a Justin Fields or a quarterback in the draft. That's going to be the first time in forever.
I feel like before they get their actual quarterback, like Belichick is a one-trick pony. Not a one-trick pony, but like he had his guy. He finds his guy and he trains his guy. He went from having Tom Brady to go into the complete opposite of a downhill Cam Newton who's coming off shoulder surgery and trying to turn him into the next great thing when he's on the downward part of his career.
Now, let's say Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay a few years back, and the hot Cam Newton goes to New England while he was under Carolina before all that BS happened. Or imagine
a Garoppolo. Garoppolo reminds me of Tom Brady. Like he makes those.
Well, he was his understudy for how long?
Exactly. And he was the same type, but like Cam Newton's the complete opposite type of style quarterback that Tom Brady is. Cam Newton tries to take as many hits as he can. He tries to extend every play. Like Tom Brady forces you to make a play that happens within 4 or 5 seconds. He can't extend plays like how Cam Newton can. So it's a whole different strategy. I mean, it's something Bill Belichick has not done over 25, 30 years as a coach.
You know what also the New England Patriots haven't done since 2002? A 3-game losing streak. In a row. 3 games in a row. The city of Boston, Massachusetts, in that tri-state area with your perfect little football you've been seeing for decades. It's the first time since 2002 you've seen 3 games in a row lost. And I hope it tastes as good and you can drink that down with some beer.
What?
Some Sam Adams Boston Lager.
Not a sponsor. I wanted to say their name.
But is it difficult for Bill Belichick, and I want to say I said this question either Sunday or last week, but I want to bring it up again. Is it a possibility that Bill Belichick, after this year, is there a possibility he's done coaching after having a losing season?
Yeah, I don't think he has the patience to mold somebody else.
He's going to go to college football and do what his dad did and go, I believe it was the Navy football team that his father played for. He's going to do the same thing. He's already talked about it. So when he leaves professional football, he's going to retire coaching college football.
He needs to pick up a hobby.
Maybe college football is his hobby.
He needs to pick up his sleeves.
Often, it might help him.
Nonetheless,
the thing is what sucks though is that if I were Bill Belichick, I want to finish on top, because that's the way it should be. That's the way the story should have been. It should have been Brady and Belichick, same spot, holding hands, going off into the sunset. That's it.
We seen that when they won their last Super Bowl.
They're both stubborn, and they both want to prove who is better.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many years has it been now that we heard, oh, could this be the end of Brady Belichick? And it's like, well, maybe if they don't win this year, then it's gonna be the end of it. And what happens? They either won or they won the AFC Championship.
Right.
They're right there. So it's like, oh, I guess we can't give up yet. Exactly. But for years, they've been like, no, I'm better than you. I'm better than you.
No.
I want to know why Tom Brady decided to leave Bill Belichick. What was going on behind closed doors that you wanted to leave?
Well, it was going to be either Belichick left or Brady left.
I have something to prove. Like, it's the whole, like, oh, you can't win without A-Rod. You can't win without Jordan. And Tom Brady being that type of player, like, I'm tired of people thinking I can't win without this old man. I can take off and go do it somewhere else. Yep. That's how I look at it, as dead ass serious.
The plays, though, that Belichick came out with, only Brady could have mastered. Like, it just was, you have good.
He was a system quarterback.
And then you have a phenomenal quarterback that can soak it in and do what they can.
Yep.
And now,
he was a very smart quarterback.
There's nobody else that can handle Belichick's mindset of that. Because, look, Cam Newton's an alright player, but he's not Tom Brady. You have to find yourself another Tom Brady that can soak it.
There's only going to be one Tom Brady, though.
In the hip.
So
that was the system guy.
Going into the last topic, though, what are your guys' thoughts on Tua Tagovailoa's debut against the Rams? And while I end up setting you guys up for that, I'm going to pull up the Justin Dunn PS2 review. If I could get out, I'm struggling.
What is he doing? You didn't have this prepared?
No, I'm having you guys talk about Tua Tagovailoa.
Why didn't you get out of the way when we were talking about Browns? Now that we're talking about other NFL teams, now you leave?
Tua's debut.
It was good. He did a good job. I mean, the Rams, he had to face Sam Darnold,
I know who you mean, yeah.
Aaron Donald. Sorry. I get Sam Darnold and Aaron Donald mixed up every time. Aaron Donald, who is obviously the best defensive, tackle in the game, he had to face him, and he handled it well. I know they had some clutch turnovers. There was a fumble return for a touchdown. I mean, there's a lot of momentum things that happened that went their way. But hey, they beat a team that's a playoff contender, and we'll see. We'll see what happens this week.
What I hope happened since it was his debut, I hope that he took in that moment and he didn't leave the field yet. I hope that he took a game ball home with him. I hope that he did want to wash his jersey, or if the crew inspectors or whatever do that for him. I hope that he took in those bumps and bruises and those scars on the drive home to his house. And I hope that moment he doesn't forget for the rest of his life. And I hope he continues to drive and be successful off that. And seeing something like that happens, like, that's cool, because you remember where you were when you've seen that quarterback throw their first completed touchdown or win MVP, win divisional titles, and etc. like that. So that's good. The Tua debut knocked it out of the park, man. It's great.
You think he's going to be any good?
I hope he's some type of good. This is what I honestly feel
I don't like him because he's from Alabama.
Well,
Alabama always angers me. Nick Saban boys.
Can I be honest? I feel like in the next 5 to 6 years, there need to be a whole new wave of quarterbacks in the National Football League. And I'm sorry to say this, your Brady's have to be retired. Your Big Ben has to be retired.
Lefties?
No, like a new field of
Oh, there will be, yeah.
A new generation of quarterbacks. But I'm saying Ben has to be gone. Brady has to be gone. Drew has to be gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ready for that, but I am ready for that, to be truly honest. So shout out to the homie Justin Doan. Justin Doan's PS2 reviews, man. Proud of you for doing your own thing out here. He loves Arby's. He loves his family.
I love Arby's.
He does. He loves his little girl. He loves wrestling. So big shout out to the homie Justin Doan. We need this bye week.
Yes.
Honest to God, we need this bye week. Yes. I need this bye week as a Browns fan.
And unfortunately, this week we will not be coming from First Stop live on Sunday morning from 11 to 12:45 like we usually do. We will be back the week after, so you can catch us that Sunday morning from 11 o'clock till 12:45, right before kickoff.
Yep, with the Cleveland Browns face off against the Houston Texans.
That's going to be an interesting matchup. I can't wait to get into it next Wednesday, though.
Next Wednesday, first stop. I might be there. I might not be there. Depends on how work goes.
I mean, next Wednesday here.
Next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, we'll talk about some Houston Texans. We got to see what they got to do this week. I mean, you never know. I picked them to lose. Mm-hmm. Did you pick them to win?
I think I picked them to lose.
Peyton, hurry up. What are you doing? Oh, my goodness.
Just going to lean over here. So, on that note, I'm over hovering Parker Pierce. This is called social distancing. But on that note, we will see you tomorrow morning. Listen in, Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, and Anchor, YouTube. Make sure to subscribe. Twitter, Twitch. We're on it all. We're on Facebook. Like it, love it, subscribe to it. See you next Wednesday, 7:30 to 9:30 from Riggs' house, live. On that note, though, check out Justin Doan's MLB The Show 06 review. We're going to play that next. We will see you next week, though. Have a good night.
Pittsburgh sucks.
Thank God he didn't have a mustache.
And now here comes the batter. 2 for 3 today. He did get a home run earlier in the third inning. They're down by 2 here in the bottom of the ninth. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on and driven deep to left field. Way back at the wall. He made the catch.
Welcome to MLB The Show. Welcome to Dome's PS2 Reviews. Today we are reviewing MLB The Show 06. Before we talk about it, let's take it down to Michael Porter for some facts about the game.
Hey Justin, so today you're playing MLB The Show 06, which is actually the first in the MLB PlayStation exclusive line to be called The Show. Originally, it was just MLB and then the year, but starting with MLB The Show 06 and onward, they've all been MLB The Show and then the year. So this is the very first of The Show line of games.
Are you kidding me? That wasn't a strike, ump. Squirrel off. You know what? I gotta talk about the game. Let's show some video clips. I gotta go kill this umpire. The game looks really good for being in 2006. This is when we're starting to get to where the sporting games were actually fun and not crappy garbage. I mean, it really looks like a real broadcast of a game. Replays, everything. The gameplay is good. Definitely a good game. So, does MLB 06 The Show go in the good pile, the average pile, or the bad pile? It's a game from 2006 and a sporting game at that. And even still, I could play this with my brother, with any one of my friends. It's a good baseball game. It definitely goes in the good pile. I like baseball games, the sporting games to be in general. Like, you can go back to some games, and we'll definitely talk about all the sporting games, like the college hoops, the NCAA, basketball. All those games are probably not good. But for the most part, the MLB games, from beginning to now, are very good games, and I really do appreciate them. I love them. Sometimes I'll go back and I'll play with old guys that aren't even playing anymore. So yeah, it's a good game. Thank you for watching Don't PS3 Reviews. Make sure you stay tuned for all of this weekend's reviews. It's going to be crazy leading up to Monday's big, huge review. That review is going to be so crazy. Please watch it. Remember to follow me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, Don's PS2 Reviews. Thank you, and knock it out of the park.